I'm a slow reader, which is ironic given the videos on my channel, but it's starting to be a problem because now I've had my friend's copy of Circe for 2 years and I still haven't read it because it takes me so long to get through my TBR. So today I'm going to test out all the best speed reading strategies that I can find, and hopefully by the end of it I'm a speed reading pro that can knock this out before another 2 years go by. I did some research and I landed on 3 strategies that should help me become a pro speed reader. There's some videos in the description for you to check out that I found all these from, but I'll tell you everything you need to know. I'm going to go in order of what I think will be the least helpful to the most helpful so that hopefully we can see some exponential growth here. But without further ado, let's get started. The first strategy that I'm going to be testing is just reading. This is my control condition. No fancy tricks, nothing up my sleeve, just me, the book, and the timer for 1 hour. And while I do that, let me tell you about this book. Circe is like a retelling of the Odyssey, but you only get bits and pieces of the Odyssey, and it serves more to add context to one of its most interesting characters. But my favorite thing about how this book starts is the tone that it sets for life as an immortal being. The decades and centuries that these gods and nymphs spend just laying around in their palaces. That's such a cool image, especially combined with the politics of the world of the gods. Now, Circe is not a true goddess. She is the daughter of a titan and a nymph, which puts her in a weird spot. So one day when she figures out that she actually is powerful and she can turn plants into powerful potions and drafts that can turn her enemies into hideous monsters, she is banished straight away to live on an island alone forever. Because nobody wants Circe to be happy. But more on that later, because I think it's very interesting why. Alright, I read for an hour at my normal speed and I got through exactly 50 pages. I'm approximating each page to be about 300 words. That was about 250 words per minute. That looks pretty average. So average isn't bad. 50 pages an hour, 250 words per minute. Now let's see if we can make it quicker. So this first real strategy, I have no faith in. I actually got the idea from this video, but I can't find anything else online with people saying that this actually works. It seems fun though, so I'm gonna try it, and who knows, maybe it'll surprise me. But this strategy is music. The idea is that you find a playlist that feels like the book and then it helps immerse you more, which does align with what I've heard about speed reading. The more that you can get immersed and focus on the visuals and the feelings rather than the actual words, the faster you'll read, is the consensus online. My problem with this is that music has never helped me focus while reading. If I'm doing some math homework, music absolutely helps me lock in and feel super productive. But if I'm reading, the visualization of the music and the visualization of the book kind of clash in my head. So I feel like I would need a perfect symphony composed specifically for this book in order to actually feel more immersed and more focused on the book. But whatever. I did some research and I landed on this video on YouTube called Circe, Ancient Greek Ambient Music for Sorcery, Solitude, and Forgotten Myths, which just seemed perfect for my situation. Now let me read you like a sentence or two with this music so you can see how I was feeling. In the years I had lived in Ayaya, I had never chafed at my constraint. After my father's halls, the island seemed to me the wildest, most giddy freedom. Its shores, its peaks, all of them yawned out to the horizon, filled up with magic. But looking at those fragile blooms, for the first time I felt the true weight of my exile. The whole book is like this, by the way. This eternal, dreamy language. So I honestly think that this music was as good as it could have been. I did, however, have COVID while I was testing this strategy, so my focus might have been knocked down a little bit, but let's see how I did. Now, why does nobody want Circe to be happy? Well, quite frankly, it's because she is a halfway decent person. We all know the story of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods and bringing it to humanity to help increase their quality of life, and how Zeus hated that and decided that Prometheus should be punished for eternity by being chained up to a rock and having an eagle eat his liver, which regenerated every day. But while Prometheus is in the house of Helios, Circe's father, on his way to be chained up on the cliff, Circe offers him some nectar to help ease his pain from his wounds. This small act of kindness to an enemy of the gods is unforgivable, of course, and though it's kept mostly a secret from Circe's family, this general sentiment that Circe has that kindness is more important than appeasing the gods is extremely frowned upon. As a result, her arrogant siblings, who can do magic just like her, are not banished in the same way because they do know how to be jerks to appease the gods. And instead of being banished, they're pretty much just given control of their own entire kingdoms out in the world. Although, and this book does dive very deep into sexism and violence against women, Circe's brothers are just directly handed their own kingdoms, but Circe's sister has to marry into it, with this jerk King Minos. But more on him after the next strategy. Let's see what I ended up with. Oh, I guess there's no clip because I had COVID. But I read 45 pages in 1 hour, which equates to about 225 words per minute. And if you couldn't do the math, that is worse than before and straight up below average. So it's safe to say that this is not a strategy I will be employing to read faster. Although I did very much enjoy my time feeling immersed in the book. My theory is that no matter how immersed you are, you have to be intentional about speed reading, which is where this next strategy comes in. This is the speed reading strategy. It's all about giving up comprehension in favor of speed and letting your brain fill in the blanks. This strategy is what I like to call peripheral reading. The idea is that you're eliminating the time it takes, 1, to read every single word on each line, and 2, to move your eyes all the way across every single page every time you skip to a new line. You choose boundaries that you're going to stay within, and you don't let your eyes wander outside of those. You let your peripheral vision and your brain's natural ability to fill in the blanks bring you to full understanding, even when you're not reading all the words. You have to be okay with not comprehending everything 100% and just kind of letting your intuition tell the story for you. For me, I'm just going to cut off 1 or 2 words per side as I'm starting out and see how far I can get. I'll see you in the time lapse. King Minos. So Cersei's sister Pasiphae sends a message to Cersei through her poor prisoner Daedalus. Break your exile and come help me give birth. Kind of a crazy ask for someone that you bullied and then abandoned on an island forever, but whatever. Minos has had like hundreds of affairs, which logically leads Pasiphae to have a love child with the sacred bull of the kingdom. And this story should sound a little bit familiar because this is where we get the Minotaur, for which Cersei has to be the midwife. She loses a few fingers in the whole ordeal, but those grow back. And she gets to meet Daedalus. I love the character of Daedalus because he's like one of 2 decent men in this book, but he spends his life as a prisoner. Pretty similar to how Cersei's decency got her thrown into exile. Well, I guess it was more of how she turned one of her bullies into an abomination, but still. It's this theme about how the most ruthless, power-hungry, and apathetic people are the ones in control, and the kind, compassionate, and talented are shut down and locked away because their talents threaten the balance of power. Daedalus is this brilliant inventor that could help so many people, but he's stuck building a cage for this monster that only exists because 2 arrogant leaders didn't know how to be loyal to each other. But of course, and this is made very clear, the root of this overarching problem is men. So after her visit to Crete and her brief stint with Daedalus, a big chunk of Cersei's life is dedicated to putting rowdy sailors in their place when they visit her island. She gives every group of men the benefit of the doubt, but the second that they get the wrong idea about what they can do alone on an island with a solitary woman, boom, turn to pigs. The exception to the men getting turned to pigs? None other than Odysseus himself. Shoot, a lot happens in this book and I've been talking too long. Well, to catch you up on where we were before this time lapse, after Odysseus left, after like a year on the island, Cersei found out that she was pregnant. She raises her child. Athena, for some reason, wants to kill the child. She puts a protective spell over the island to protect the child from Athena, but then the child grows up and wants to go visit his father Odysseus. But first, the results. And they're insane. That's an hour. You're not gonna believe me. I can barely believe myself. I started on page 278, and right now, where my bookmark is, page 368. What? Guys, I just read 90 pages in an hour. I've never done that in my life with any book. Now, the problem with this strategy would be comprehension, because you would think the comprehension goes all the way out the window when you're only reading like the middle third of the page. Let me just dump onto you everything that I can remember. She gave it to her son for his journey, and it's winter, and it's cold, it's Telemachus, and it's kind of like just a sad little moment. You just killed Telemachus' father. They killed all the, like, 100 suitors. And then they were gonna kill the suitors' fathers. You got your own problem. There's a knock on the door. Who would it be but Hermes? She doesn't need 3 days. She's a freaking awesome freaking witch. Now my son's in danger and not you, what the freak. And so she leaves the island. That's where we left off. They're on the ship. They're just entering the strait between Scylla and Charybdis. That was like over 12 minutes of talking about the book. And honestly, that worked so well. I haven't done the math. Divided by 60 minutes. Okay, 450 words per minute. What? Like what? I did not think I was gonna finish this book in this challenge, and now all I have left in this book is literally another 30 pages, if that. Oh, not even 20 pages. Holy hallelujah. You heard it here first, folks. Great speed reading technique. Focus on the middle third. This is really promising. This combined with the last strategy. I thought the last strategy is gonna be the one that really picks it up, so we'll see if I get super overpowered after adding that last one in, but I think it was a combination of the strategy itself, of course, but also really focusing on speed reading for the first time. I did start to get that visualization feeling and the forgetting about the specific words while I was reading, and that was really, really promising. Now I need to add one last piece to the puzzle, and you're looking at it. I like to call this strategy the finger. It's my ring finger, don't worry. Literally all I'm adding now is a little finger to pace my reading and hopefully lead it to be faster. I really thought that the finger would be the most effective strategy, but after this last one, I feel like we might have already found it. But imagine that this strategy makes me as much faster as that last one did. That's like 800 words per minute or like 150 pages in an hour. I shouldn't get my hopes that high, but let's see how this goes. Oh, also there is this one thing.
Oops, I finished the book. I'm gonna start Wicked by whoever wrote Wicked. It's along the same veins of like, it's familiar characters, but an original story. Yeah, I finished the book.
So we're going to be starting Wicked by Gregory Maguire, which you'll hear more about in another video. The pages are a bit longer, so I'll have to do some math to adjust to a consistent measurement. But for now, let me tell you about the end of Cersei over this time lapse. So this book ends with one of my favorite tropes about very powerful / immortal characters. Cersei gives up her immortality to be with her new lover, who is Odysseus' son. The other son, not her own son. They spend the rest of their mortal lives fixing up ships and selling healing herbs and drafts, and then they get to die peacefully of old age together. The ending, however, did not make me cry. And I'm a big crier of books that have endings like these, so I'm not sure how to feel about this book not giving me that experience. My rating for this book? 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It had such beautiful imagery and it expressed powerful feminist themes that were not subtle but felt subtle. She's literally turning men into pigs, but she's not like saying out loud, I'm doing this because yada yada yada. She gives people a chance every time, but she finds again and again that they are consistently problematic. Till she finds her true love and then she has a beautiful life with him, and that's awesome. The only thing holding it back from its final star is that there wasn't enough emotion for me personally. I would have liked a little more. There are definitely some very emotional parts, like when the first group of sailors comes to Cersei's island, and I did really like it when she was talking about the fleeting lives of mortals and how she would have to watch her own son get old and die. But I think I wanted more of that, which is, you know, selfish. Madeline Miller did not write this book specifically for me, but it's a personal 4 stars, but I still really enjoyed it, and now I can finally give it back to Alex. Now let's see what the finger did.
Once again, you're not gonna buy it. It just doesn't make sense. After 1 hour of reading, I started this new book. I ended up at page 100. Mind you, these pages are longer, and I'll do some calculations later, but that's insane. Now the question is, how much do I remember? I'm gonna go try to tell you all that. So you start off in Munchkin Land, a shift from paganism to monotheism. Town baddie has to be with the big shot, you know, it just makes sense. And they're trying to figure out why she's green. Until I return in a time of great need. Shiz College. And he gets very upset about this, of course. He's a goat. In more ways than one. Come on, man. I read 100 pages and I honestly comprehended equally as much as I would have if I'd read slower. The only drawback of speed reading is that it's just like a little bit stressful, but honestly, without a timer, I feel like it doesn't even matter that much. So yeah, let me do some math and I'll get back to you on what that would equate to with reading Cersei, because I think my reading speed has, like, gone crazy.
So Cersei and Wicked have about the same number of words per line, but Wicked has 6 more lines per page. Going from 30 to 36, that's a factor of 1.2. That is to say, in 1 hour, I read the equivalent of 120 pages from Cersei. That is 2 pages a minute or 600 words per minute, which is over double what I started with and also double the average reading speed. When I had this video idea, I thought that maybe by the end of it, I would be able to read 10 more pages an hour, but I literally halved the time that it takes me to read a book. So please try this at home if you want to learn how to speed read, because it actually works. I started at 250 words per minute. I went down to 225 when I put some music on, but then I shot up to 450 with the peripheral reading, and adding the finger guide got me all the way to 600 words per minute. I'm not going to guarantee anybody 600 words per minute, but I'm pretty confident in saying that if you try this stuff, you will, like 100%, get at least 100 more words per minute. A week ago, it would have taken me 32 hours to read the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now I could do it in 13. Like what? Anyway, I guess I'm gonna go finish this entire book in like 3 hours. If you want to hear my thoughts on Wicked, check out this video. Otherwise, if you want to learn how to get out of a reading slump, which is a very important part of reading fast, check out this other video of mine. Super fun time. Alright, subscribe and like and comment and all the good stuff. Bye.